my
missed you.
goodness. Yeah.
How
Catherine,
are
how are
you?
you?
How are
I'm
you?
good. Wow, it's been a while. Hi, Aspi. How are you? Good to see you.
Ashley's in already. Oh,
You like that?
oh, she's a trooper.
Oh, she's lovely. How is my sound? Hi, Stedman. We've got
Your
the
sound is
18.
good. Your
You've got.
sound is good. Yeah.
Oh yes, we've got the
And what about
18.
mine? Is mine
Yours
okay?
is fabulous, fabulous. Well,
Fabulous, darling.
yes, I hope our darlings in the comments section can also tell us how the sound is coming out like on that side. Otherwise, it's them that
We're
we
out of
really need.
practice.
Yeah. So give us a thumbs up, my dear friends, in the comments how you are finding our sound so far. Um, yes. So yes, we've got a lot to go through today, haven't we, Catherine?
Oh, we do. We do. You're looking very well, Francis.
Oh, and you too, and you too. We've had such a very, very hectic few weeks gone, and so things are just leveling up right now. But otherwise, we could have held these lives a few, days in the last few weeks. But you have been traveling as well, haven't you, Catherine?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I was. And then when I returned home, I was down the south coast with family. Then when I returned home, we had storms, and they wouldn't have been anything like London experiences or, the UK, but we had a lot of tree damage. But I just, I got to tell you, I've kind of enjoyed the break because I went so hard at it
Mm.
when you were promoting my channel the way you were last year. It
Yes.
was nice just to have a break and just change the strategy. So, but those girls, Aspie Stedman, they're always there. They're just fantastic.
Oh, yes, they are, haven't they?
Yeah,
They've been really, really showing so much support
yeah, they are.
where
They're
we haven't
fabulous.
been. Yes, and
Yeah,
I mean, we have been posting here and there on the
yeah,
channel, but not very, very active as we usually are. But they still showed up and, said, hi, come back. We miss those lives. So thank you
yeah,
so much,
yeah.
Stedman, Aspi, every one of you who is on this live stream. We
I'm
heard
writing.
that the
Yeah.
weather hasn't been friendly where us
Okay.
is in Texas recently with all the snow and the storms and all of that. And as you know, Aspi obviously works on a ranch, so this would have affected her so much.
Oh, Stedman,
Yes,
Stedman.
Stedman, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's right. There's a lot going on in Texas at the moment after the election and inauguration of President Trump. So there's a lot going on down there. And yeah, but I'm always impressed. They always turn up. But not just that, with really intelligent feedback, just,
Hmm.
thoughtful people. You just don't have a lot of bots in there. You've got thoughtful contributors, Francis.
Oh yes, yes.
Mm,
That's the team we
mm,
attract on this channel, isn't it?
mm,
uh,
mm, mm.
very caring, loving, and they are quite up to date with all these stories. Sometimes I hear these stories of them, isn't it? Asti comes
Yeah.
in the comments section and highlights something, and then Stedman also picks up something that she has come across via Twitter. So they are very informed, aren't they? Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I'm the same as you. Sometimes a comment will trigger an idea or a thought. You can't, as a content creator, I mean, you've got a far bigger channel, but still, even as a small content creator, and trust me, I'm happy to be a small content creator because once you've got, that elevation, I imagine you've got problems with trolls with your channel being having the reach it does. But those comments, even the trolls, it's feedback. You can't ignore your comments. You really, and I think that's where I feel you are one of the successful content creators. You really have created a stellar community around you. And, I think it's fabulous. Where did you go? Look, he's done it to me again, girls. He's disappeared and then he leaves me, to hold the fort. And my bad angel comes out and wants to, organize a mutiny. How is everyone? I'll switch over. I'll see if I can get the comments up here. No, I can't. I don't have them. Well, he sent me a text. Just a moment, girls. I've got a text from Francis. I can hear. Can't have this. It's probably the weather. I can't see any comments either. I can't see anything. And now I think I'm backstage.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere.
Um,
I can hear him. He's there. It's a visual
Yeah, I'm back in. I'm
visual
back in. Let
thing.
me. Yeah, it's a visual. I'm coming back in. Let me see how. Okay, Catherine.
Here we go. Yes, I'm here. I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, we're back here. Apologies.
Yeah. Have you got connection
Yeah,
issues there, Francis?
connection issues
Okay.
indeed. Yes, but back in.
Yes,
Hopefully, this is
yes.
going to be stable. Yeah. So I had the
Fabulous.
mobile. I had the mobile network on, so I've disabled that. So rather Wi-Fi. I've disabled that, so I'm back to the mobile network because it's more stable than Wi-Fi, isn't it?
Yes,
When it
yes.
comes.
I'm on the mobile network. Yeah,
Mm.
it's not reliable.
It's not reliable, this Wi-Fi. But hey ho, here we did you show our friends your sweet munchkin there, little teddy bear?
I
Show
did.
them.
I
Yes.
I have him in the living room at the moment. He's sitting on the couch next to
Yeah.
me.
Oh,
And it's
it's so lovely.
Frankie, our little Queen's Guard. And
Okay.
yeah, I
He's
never have a broadcast
so,
without him. I have a little dog, Banter,
yeah.
but he's away bantering somewhere. He's on a shelf somewhere
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
I don't have the
Hi,
I
free
like animals.
speech.
I can't look after them. Hmm. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, it's hard work with animals, isn't it? You've got to
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
them 100%
Mm,
attention if you have them. And
mm.
and this is one thing I always tell those that have animals like dogs, cats, and they don't take them for walks. And you think, why are you keeping them if you can't have time to take them out for walks?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think, yeah, if you're not going to have that time for them, then you'd rather not have them at all.
Mm,
But here
mm.
we
I'm
go. Hi,
I'm the
free
same.
speech.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So thank you for tuning in, free speech. Everyone of you on here that hope you received those little cards and presents we sent across to you during the Christmas season. It was very disruptive. The mail coming down to those areas of yours because of uprisings in Canada, the weather, and the festive rush. So I believe most of them received the cards and those little sweet things very later on in the year. But thank you so much for acknowledging. And Catherine, thank you so much for the t-shirts. So they look amazing, amazing. I'm going to unwrap them on our next live. So then I'll
Yeah,
get a bit of
yeah.
yay.
It's more.
Yeah.
They're just t-shirts, so the weather probably doesn't allow for them, So, yeah,
Yeah, great
you're a
summaries, but
great
they are
partner
right.
in crime, Francis.
Oh, yes. But Catherine, let's get into these
Yes,
stories. Which
yes.
one should we start with? because we have
Oh,
quite a lot going
well, I'm
on.
happy to be led by you. You kick off.
Okay. So should we start off with our lovely Catherine, Princess of Wales, of course. She was nominated for the New Times Magazine Person of the Year 2024. Did you see that?
I did, and that's actually quite a big deal because um, I know it was 2024, but she's now been invited onto the front cover of Vogue. And Anna Wintour is a real fan of the royal family and has a lot of time for Catherine. So, but that nomination, we knew we knew where it was going to go. But that nominating of Catherine for the Time Person of the Year was a really big deal, and that would have caused enormous consternation for Meghan Markle because they saw themselves as the big influencers across the pond in America, and we had that photo of them as
Yeah,
oh, you're back, fabulous. So
I'm back.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I just feel that Catherine, it didn't matter what they threw at her last year. You know, the trolls just went after her, but she just kept. It's like cream. It's like mother's milk. You know, the colostrum that just rises to the surface when you. I remember when growing up in the UK, we would have our milk delivered and there would always be this cream on the top, you know. And Catherine is like that. You can't keep her down. And no matter how they tried last year, she just keeps going from strength to strength.
Oh, she does. She does indeed. It's this New Times Magazine. It's in US is huge. It's really, really huge. Even a nomination like this is very special, incredibly special, given the amount of people out there that are making a difference on a daily basis. So for Catherine to be acknowledged in the way that she was under those nominations is very special and something we are very proud of. All of us who know the great work that Catherine, Princess of Wales, does. But more importantly, we know that she hasn't. You talked about this the other day. She has had such a rough year, with the cancer diagnosis, and we have sort of been seeing her once every 3 weeks, every month. So she hasn't been that active. But the moments that she has come out to do an activity, she has made a massive impact. It's better than those we know that have been showing up on a daily basis and not making an impact. So it was very interesting that even with her disappearance for a good chunk of 2024, she still received that nomination. Okay.
Oh, she's a remarkable woman because she I don't think I could have, but you know, I'm not in that position, but I've thought about this. I don't know if I could have the grace. I know because I know I've got my limits, and you know, one of my nicknames is, in one of the volunteer areas where I work is Miss Congeniality. So
Okay.
I know I've got certain qualities that, you know, I'm a team player, but I could never, I don't think I could have the grace that she displayed, rising above all that hatred, right? And now we're talking real hatred. We're not talking about these idiots that come on and go, oh, listen to the hate, you know. That's so stupid. And it really downplays what hate is. She faced it down. And
Hmm.
who among us, we've never been tested to that degree, but who among us could have done what she did? You know, she did it. She did it. No, you've never, Meghan Markle, every time there's a negative comment about her, oh, she has to come out and set the record straight. She it's reported in from a source, of course, and we know who the sources are, that she's deeply wounded and has gone into hermit mode after the Vanity Fair. Catherine didn't do any of that. She didn't reply. When she replied, she just did it her way. And it was
Okay, yeah.
that beautiful video. She did it her way. She was not going to be backed into a corner. She did it her way, and with grace, with enormous dignity, and with the love of her husband intact, because that kind of illness can really test a marriage. But look at them, they're
It,
stronger than ever.
ever before, indeed. She acknowledged everybody, thanked everyone, not a single mention of those who troll her. She just rolled on as if nothing had happened. And not like, of course, Meghan, who we know goes out and blows these loud horns. Oh, I'm the most hated woman in the world. Okay. I'm the most, hated on, person in the world. She turned up at an event and was telling kids how she's the most hated person in the world. Why would she even feel the need to promote such negativity among young children? So this is the difference. And when Catherine, Princess of Wales, then is awarded these nominations and praised in the way that she has always been praised, it doesn't surprise us, because that is Catherine. She sets it straight there that, I'm just here to make a difference. And then, as Pete mentions here, very importantly, her trip to the Royal Marsden Hospital recently. This is
Yes.
where she herself was treated for cancer. What a special gesture. I thought that was brilliant of Catherine. Again, it takes a lot of braveness, as you know, going back to a place where you had those very, very, terrible memories and times of treatment and seeing people suffering, and going back there just, should we say, weeks or months after leaving, is braveness at the highest level. So she decides to go back to thank all of those nurses and to catch up with the patients themselves. Because as you know, she would have made a lot of friends in that hospital during her time of stay there. So again, a classic example of a woman who, inside out, is destined to carry this flag of kindness and compassion. Okay.
Well, she just is a unique, like, she is destined for this role. You know, William chose well. He took his time and they married when they were ready. He didn't rush anything, unlike his brother, who rushes everything. He's so hasty and petulant. But William took his time, and she was tested. She was trained. She was trained up at the knee of none other than the late Queen herself. Catherine is an extraordinary woman, and we've seen nothing yet.
We've seen
We-
nothing yet. I'm
No,
telling
no,
you, she is apparently working on massive projects
yeah.
this year. And apparently have been talks of a trip to United States with husband Prince William. We know that last year, a few weeks, a month into last year, it was reported that they had registered a trademark for the Royal Foundation for the Prince and Princess of Wales
Mm-hmm.
fund, and this is going to be part of their mental health campaigns, the Heads Together, which is very, very big here in the United Kingdom, as you can imagine. So they are taking this across the US, and allegedly there might be a royal visit again to United States to promote the works of their charity. And we know there is a massive, massive gap for, people to go and
Well,
make a
what
difference.
I like about Catherine and William. Oh, sorry, you froze up.
Yeah, if I
Sorry, I
froze up,
spoke over you because the screen
froze.
froze. Yeah,
Yeah, am
sorry,
I back
Francis.
now?
Yeah,
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 yes.
you're back. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there is the talk that Catherine and William are going to go to US to promote the works of Heads Together. So that is very exciting. Catherine has froze up. Uh, let's see. Catherine, are you there? Yeah, I think it's the signal issues on Catherine's side, but I know she will get back to us once her signal gets back. Yes. But yes, great to see you all, my dear friends. And thank you so much for that support for Catherine, Princess of Wales. That nomination meant a lot to her. And of course, to us here, people who are always following up on Catherine, Princess of Wales's work. Now, allegedly, we heard that Meghan Markle somehow felt jealous of Catherine's nomination. She thought she would be the one to be nominated for New Times Magazine Person of the Year. We all know how jealous Meghan Markle gets each time Catherine, Princess of Wales, goes into the headlines. But again, what has she done? What has Meghan Markle done ever since they left the royal family that warranties nominations of any sort out there? Nothing. Nothing. So, hi Lily, thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are. Appreciate your time. It's good to see you catch up with this live stream. And every single one of you, what are your thoughts about, Catherine Princess of Wales's recent nomination for the New Times Magazine Person of the Year? Meghan Markle wasn't nominated, so let's check our friend here. Uh, Catherine, maybe she's back. Catherine, are you back?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
My screen was frozen.
Yeah.
But anyway, we proceed. We keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
Okay, I'll
was.
fix my aspect ratio. There we go.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
So I was wrapping up that, nomination for Catherine, Princess of Wales, and saying that allegedly Meghan Markle felt jealous of Catherine, Princess of Wales, for, not being nominated. She thought she would get the nomination instead. Uh, but again, what has Meghan Markle done that warrants a nomination? Nothing. Nothing. Day in, day out, Catherine, Princess of Wales, will always tower over her. Since they left the royal family, we haven't seen much apart from, the unprofessionalism and inconsistencies in their messages, and all of those sort of things we have been reading about them in the news. So yes, congratulations, Catherine. Commiserations to Meghan Markle.
Oh, what a silly old. I'll be
Yeah,
polite. She's just so.
yeah,
Well, like the level of entitlement. Okay, I'll put it this way. I'll save the insults. I had a really good one on the tip of my tongue, but I won't do that. She's the level of entitlement of that woman is off its nuclear level. She really believes she's entitled to everything and anything that's going, but her nemesis is Catherine, the Princess of Wales. But she can't compete with her. She would never have been able to compete with Catherine. There is no competition. And thanks to you and your trolls, Megan, you've made her now the most famous woman in the world, which was one of the conclusions by the media itself last year because she was catapulted into another stratosphere. So it doesn't matter. Like Megan, oh my God, Megan, go get some help. You know, this woman needs help. She really,
She
she's
does. She does.
extraordinarily unhappy, unbalanced, unstable woman.
And Aspie talks about Donald Trump saying he would welcome William and Catherine. And of course, yes, thank you for bringing that up. Aspie, Donald Trump actually met Prince William before he even, knew he was going to be president, because they were still going
Yeah,
through the elections, weren't they, in United States, when Donald Trump went to see William. I think William was in the US at the time, most recently. And you heard how Donald Trump was quick at praising William. Oh, you're a good man. You're doing great work for the royal family. I appreciate every support you're giving to the king and you gave to your mother. And he talked a lot about Queen Elizabeth. We all know how Donald Trump adored Queen Elizabeth and is still very much respectful of the royal family. So anybody who goes against the royal family in the way that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry did, Donald Trump is always going to have his door locked away from those people. So it is going to be, great to see how William and Catherine are again welcomed in the US should they travel there for their projects. I'm thinking that they will definitely be meeting up with Donald Trump. He will have his office with open arms to let them in.
oh, you're
So,
right.
and of course, we know with this visa thing for Harry and Meghan going on in United States and how Donald Trump in the past has expressed a lot of dissatisfaction with the way it was handled, thinking that those two should have been sort of at least dealt with. So we always saw a Donald Trump who was very skeptic when it came to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. So,
So I want to ask you a question on the while you've got Donald Trump in the while he's in the conversation. What are your thoughts? I'm just taking it into another area in doing so, but what are your thoughts about the idea that Prince Harry settled in the end with Murdoch's group, NGN, because he didn't want to risk leaving the US and not being able to get back in because he's so terrified Trump. He's actually frightened of Trump. And he
yeah.
has good reason to be. But what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that that had any bearing on any of his recent decision making in his latest court ventures?
That's a good one. Good one, Catherine, indeed. But I don't think it had something to do with that because
Okay.
we know that Donald Trump adores the royal family so much. He
Mm,
has huge respect for them, and even if Harry did whatever he did, and Meghan Markle, Donald Trump still looks at them as people who are still members of the royal family.
mm,
So he would really not be that bad to push them out of the United States. So in any case, he would allow them to stay there because of the respect he has for the royal family and to save Meghan Markle, Prince Harry embarrassment, and also the royal family embarrassment. Because if he turned around and put those Prince Harry back on that plane to UK here, the royal family would feel embarrassed in one way because all the headlines, can you imagine, would be talking about King
mm,
Charles'
mm,
son kicked out of the United States. So I don't think Prince Harry is very, very much worried of being kicked out of the US
mm,
because
mm.
Donald Trump is very understanding. I know he said all over these things prior to him sitting in that chair as the president, but it's very different to how you act after you become a president. Okay, so he was speaking from a position of somebody else, get them out of the US. But when he sits in that chair like he is now, I don't think Trump will be acting the same way he used to talk about Meghan and Harry. He would like to be sympathetic, but only because he has admiration for the king, the queen, the royal family. So I don't
Exactly.
think it's having.
Yeah, I
Mm,
kind of agree with you. That's my thoughts too. He may have had some anxiety about it, but I'm not sure because the Trump is, you're right. You've got two people, one woman who's in remission from cancer, and the king himself, and there are recent reports that the king's health is, not good.
mm.
I can't see that Trump would be even tempted to go down that path because it would put so much pressure on the family.
On the family, on the king, and the image of the royal family would be tarnished because,
Yes.
and this is why we are constantly calling out Prince Harry, Meghan Markle for their acts, because for as long as they are going to be carrying on with whatever they are doing there, they are tarnishing, that's the word, the image of the royal family. So our constant call up is to see them clean up their acts, and because the more they are behaving in that way, the bad they make the royal family look and become unpopular. Okay, so but we are very very thankful that Donald Trump can have. I know that there is a petition that has been put out there to get Prince Harry kicked out of the United States. This petition is going around. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't
Yes.
know how
Yeah.
many people have signed that, but I don't think Donald Trump can grant that. Can really think about kicking them out of the US. That will be very brutal of him to
Mm.
do,
Mm.
and us as royalists who want the king, Catherine, Princess of Wales, the royal family to have a bit of a peace of mind, I think
Mm.
it's better for us that Harry and Meghan Markle stay away as possible and as much as they can. I don't want to see them anywhere near the king. So
No, no, you're
please,
right. He's going up to Canada anyway in the near future with Invictus Games, but there's also reports that they're back together, and it looked that way with their recent stunt over, the ashes at the fires. What are your thoughts about that,
which,
Francis? Do you
which
think
one?
that Harry and Meghan really are back together and they're, doing things together? What are your thoughts about that?
They are always going to show the world that they are together. Okay, they are
Mm,
always going to come across as this love couple. They are very loved up, and but really, for me, I think they are in it for business now. That's what I think. Uh, it is Prince Harry not wanting to show the world that the, their relationship is crumbling and all of that, because again it will come back to him and people saying, you see, we've always told you that it is going to be a matter of time and this will come down crumbling. He knows that his brother warned him of this relationship before he got himself involved, and he decided to carry on with it. So he will be fighting tooth and neck in any
mm,
way possible to present their marriage and relationship as if it is still intact and standing. But we know by the actions and by reading around that uh, they are just in it for business, really.
mm,
Because
mm,
if it's finished now, Prince Harry, you know, how is he gonna? Because he's now since this lady took him there, he cut him off from his family. A lot has changed with him. It's hard work now. And I think these two, Meghan Markle herself, can't survive without Prince Harry. All those projects she's getting is all because she's married to Prince Harry. So she will also fight so hard to keep that relationship still going.
Mm,
And
mm,
yeah, and I think you saw when they talked about professional separation and them starting to do things their way, building individual brands, but within the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I think this is an approach they are going to be following from now on. And it again shows to us how their relationship has been finished long time ago. It's just in there for the Sussex brand. And but then within there, these two are working on individual projects and they're just literally single people living in this big mansion. I would like to think like that. But what are your thoughts, our dear friends, in the comments? Leave them. Yeah. What? Let's see what you think about it. Yes. So that
yeah,
that brings us to this Vanity Fair magazine.
yeah.
Um, that magazine, we know has always been dilly dolly with Meghan and Harry. Oh, it's praised them in the past. Oh, they've done this. Oh, they are the royals in the US. They are this is the new royal family in the US. And then all of a sudden, we see this article in a magazine literally bringing them down in a very professional way.
It was
you
a
know.
very good article. It covered so much ground. It was well researched. It was well written. It delivered a gut punch. It was a king hit, as they call it. It was an incredible article, and I think that from the Hollywood Reporter until now, with this Vanity Fair, it's pretty shocking downfall. And who would have known it would be so dramatic? And apparently, she's saying she's deeply wounded and she's gone into a hermit mode. Oh, rubbish. We don't believe a word of that. You love the attention. She really has reached a level where it doesn't matter whether it's negative attention, so long as everyone is talking about her.
Mm,
And it really is a devastating article, devastating. And it even speaks about Harry, that I do feel people are quite generous with Harry, um, because it says that he would be really happy to just be doing all of the charity work and allowing her to do the entrepreneurial and the business side of things. And I think she would love that as well. But she would still want to be there with him on his charity work. He would never be allowed to go out and do that by himself. But there was one comment that was made that, let me just get this right, that he's they didn't go so far as to say he's dim, but they said it's like he's not there, he's
mm,
not present. And
mm,
I thought, what a loaded statement that is. It really is loaded,
mm,
because it's like it just stops short of saying he's dim. You
mm,
know, I can't speak for the writer, but I just found that very loaded. And that's because he just gave his agency to her. He gave all of his agency to her, and he thought she was going to do everything. And all she's done is lead them down a rabbit hole. And you know what they're saying, when you're in a hole, stop digging. But they can't. She can't. She's always setting the record straight. She's always putting aside her side of the story. She's always, putting out a source and
mm,
giving her story, and it's not working. This strategy is not working for her or for them. And I'll tell you, I don't believe she will divorce him. I don't. They are going to be like Edward and Mrs. Simpson. They're going to be stuck together, because you just said it. You just said it. She cannot, she will not, she will never be anyone without Harry.
Without Harry, she survives on this Duke and Duchess of Sussex title. And well, you can see this in all her ventures, the cooking show, which is spiced up with the Duchess of Sussex. She goes to the Instagram pages, Meghan the Duchess of Sussex, American Riviera Orchard, Meghan the Duchess of Sussex. So there is no way she can survive without that Duchess of Sussex prefix. And we know that Duchess of Sussex is referring to Prince Harry, because without Prince Harry, she would never have been the Duchess of Sussex. Okay, so she's going to hang on for as much as she can. But you have said very clearly and loudly that Prince Harry is not in it. It's more like he's absent. When they step out together, you see how he is very subdued in the background. He looks very uninterested. He's fidgeting with his hands, looking down. Shoulders, usually when Prince Harry steps out, his shoulders are alone. His shoulders are broad. He exudes confidence. He's very chatty. When they step out with Meghan Markle, it's more like air has been sucked out of him, and he's like
Yes.
that. In the background, he sits in the chairs. It's more like he's disappeared. So we see Meghan Markle is taking all the center stage, giving all the speeches, and Harry's just following by behind, showing all signs of unhappiness in their dual partnerships, which is very telling of the sort of life behind the scenes that these two are living. If they can come across like that when we are all seeing, then what lies behind those walls is a very interesting story. But that article talks about Harry who is not loaded when they are walking together. This is what the article means. Okay.
That's right. It's really
They've been,
sad.
yeah. It's very sad. They've been following up on these two. And I know that somebody said the other day that the article fell out with Meghan and Harry because some time back there is a headline that the article read about Meghan Markle, and that Meghan Markle did not like it. She found it as a racist sort of headline that the article had made. And behind the scenes, there was a lot of infighting between Meghan Markle and staff at Vanity Fair, trying to tell them to get rid of this headline, pull down the article story, and she put people onto a lot of pressure. So that at that point is when they started to realize the true colors of this woman, Meghan Markle. Okay. and that's when the relationship between them and Vanity Fair took a very sharp turn. Okay.
Well,
So,
I think Hollywood Reporter, their article loosed the hounds.
mm,
That when the Hollywood Reporter, which is the Bible of Hollywood, and apparently she reads it assiduously, um, when the Hollywood Reporter, calls you a dictator in heels and really slams you as a bully, and this is why you see staff leaving. Well, of course, and you just saw there was this trickle, and now it's just a deluge.
yeah.
And now Vanity Fair, oh God. But that Wild About Harry, there was nothing racist about that title of the article at all. She
Mm,
just looks for problems. She
it
loves
does.
to create drama. She
Mm,
just, she's just a strange woman. She
mm,
thrives on drama, and
she does.
there was nothing racist about Wild About Harry. And if anything, I found it was actually, it cemented her as his girlfriend, because she wanted that article because she wanted to be known as Harry's girlfriend. And
Mm,
so I believe that article cemented it for her, but for her to create a drama out of it tells you how strange this woman is. Where, like, why all the drama? Why? What?
Wow.
Why
Yeah.
all the drama?
Well,
You
you
got
just
what
said
you
it.
wanted.
You just said it. She thrives on drama. She thrives on controversy. She thrives on, being that controversial person, And when you build a brand on that sort of behavior, your brand is only going to get that far. Okay.
Mm, mm.
And so obviously, when the Vanity Fair magazine writes about uh, Meghan Markle parenting Prince Harry, because we saw that in the article, that she's reparenting, she's parenting. They are writing from a position of, a position of thought and position of following up on Meghan Markle's behavior for a long time, because they've been observing this, taking place, and how Prince Harry is in the background. At some point, Prince Harry is like he's holding her handbag, and uh, when they are sat together giving talks, you see how she's, whenever Harry wants to speak, she's putting her arm on Harry, more like to say, "Don't speak because I'm speaking." It's more like she's
Oh,
reparenting.
oh, it's really ghastly behavior. You don't treat your
It is.
partner like that at
No.
any time, much less in
Yeah.
public. It's
Yeah.
ghastly. It's awful behavior. It's
It
just,
is.
and it shows her for what she really is.
Yeah, yeah. And she brings all of this upon herself, I'm sorry to say,
Yes.
because she goes looking for, you know, behind the scenes, we are told she calls people, gets on the phone, calls people, wants to be featured in magazines, wants to be invited and given roles on occasions. She wants to go and literally get crushed into parties of celebrities and be there with them. Oprah Winfrey, all these parties that we see her show up, and she get crashing red carpets and not wanting to go away. So she's really trying so hard behind the scenes to get herself into those positions, even when these people are not willing to give her those honors. So this is the problem, because what happens then is that people lose respect in you. People can now do anything they want or say anything they want about you because they know your worth. That is what you're worth. If you can belittle yourself to an extent of you, the Duchess of Sussex, pleading with people who would have been begging you to come on their shows, but it is you pleading with them to feature you, have your name featured in stories. It's very sad, because can you imagine if Catherine, Princess of Wales, did the same? No. Catherine is a lady who is very reserved, very professional. Companies, organizations, charities are desperate to have her on their show, to reach out to her. Not that she thinks she's the god, but because she knows how to act as a royal. Have that respect for yourself, okay? Not showing up at red carpets and you want to pose like you're a top model, American top model. You know that program I used to see back in the,
Mm, mm.
is it Tyler Banks, whatever, the American top model, and they would come and pose like that on the red carpet. We see Meghan Markle doing all of those little celebrities, actress behavior things on the red carpet. God's sake, she is the Duchess of Sussex. Have some respect for yourself. So this is the biggest problem for Meghan Markle, because she has portrayed this image of the lack of self-respect for herself. All articles, including Vanity Fair, okay, are now looking at her as somebody who is very desperate and say, right, okay, so she's gone against us in this way. Let us show her fire. So she's given people ammunitions to treat her the way they are doing right now, which is very sad. And for as long as this is going to be happening, their Sussex brand is not going to grow any further than it is right now.
Well,
The,
I don't know. I don't know what they can do to turn it round. I, I think the only way they can turn this around, and it's not possible because she doesn't have the capacity, I think they need to go away and be quiet. I think this is the only way that they can turn their devastated reputation. It's in tatters. It's absolutely in tatters. But we know she can't do that because she can't shut up. I think Harry can. I think although he loves being in court, he's quite litigious. He enjoys that because he likes to see himself as, a champion, a superhero in oversized underpants. But Meghan,
yeah,
she
yeah,
can't shut up. I believe that is the only way they can, her in particular, the only way she can turn this around is to be quiet and quietly work on a charity. Don't put out PR pieces about it. Just quietly. You said that you wanted to be a feminist and you wanted to encourage young girls. You wanted to be an example for young girls. Well, you don't go to Nigeria half naked with no bra, and then you have the First Lady of Nigeria saying, we don't want these celebrities coming here and teaching our girls this is the way women behave. That's
mm,
not the way to behave. If you want to turn things around, Megan, go away, be quiet, work on a charity behind the scenes. That is
exactly.
the only way she can turn this around. And you know what? She can't do it because that takes time.
It takes time, and they haven't. Of course, they've showed us consistently that they are two individuals who can't take advice. And for as long as they are going to be working in this sort of way, I don't see them making any progress. Look at that cooking show. Okay, so they show us the trailer the other day. Who do we see? It's Meghan Markle. She knows nothing about cooking. She didn't even go to have lessons on cookery, on food hygiene. She just rocks up because she knows she's good at everything, and she dumps her hands in the baking powder to make cakes, and no gloves on. Hair is swinging around, no headgears on, no aprons, no nothing. And she's doing a cooking show, which is supposed to be watched by millions of people around the world, including people who are experts in the field of cookery. She turns up like that, clearly telling us that she did not take advice, she did not seek any way to better herself before going into that industry. We were told she has a lot of fabulous chefs. Again, this is their PR telling us. But where were these chefs who would not advise her on how to approach cooking in the kitchen? Okay. There is another lady we see. What's her name? It's the
Martha
name.
Stewart.
Okay, so no, there is
Martha
another.
Stewart.
Is she the one who has her own cooking show in United States? We are told Meghan Markle copied from.
Oh, yeah, Martha Stewart, but she also copied someone from the UK as well, a woman with
Okay.
a title, a lady. She's just copied everyone. It's a
Okay.
ridiculous concept that she's put together because
Okay.
she's sort of the only, she's sort of got barefoot and in the kitchen, like
Yeah, yeah.
some feminist.
Yeah, she's not got no ideas, all these ideas. She's copying from others. When she told us she's coming out with a cooking show, people were looking for something special, something different. Invite family. I'm gonna cook for my family. Let us see Marco, see Meghan Markle's her dad, Thomas. Let us see Thomas Markle there. Let us see your sisters. You're cooking for them, and show us something like that. But again, she shows up as Meghan Markle, the one we know, and she's in charge. Okay, nobody else there. They are on the sidelines. Cooking shows I've seen, okay, mostly with celebrities and all of that who started those shows, they are on the side watching in. They are observing people who are trained as chefs cooking, and they are showing curiosity. Okay, oh, how did you do that? Oh, can I try? Okay, so we see them working on the sidelines. Let somebody who knows what they do the job, and show your vulnerability to us, because people love tuning into people who are vulnerable. But she wants to come across as the superstar of cooking. She thinks she's good at everything. This is the biggest problem for Meghan Markle. So when Vanity Fair writes these stories and these articles and says all of these things about Meghan Markle, that article was actually reaffirming what we all know about.
Well, I mean, they're British dishes as well. You know, she's rejected the UK,
Yeah.
but she's got a sponge. You know, she's putting strawberries on a sponge. You know, her
Ah,
show should be called "Let Them Eat Sponge." You know,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
sort of it's ridiculous. It's she's got no idea. I mean, she slammed, she mocked royal traditions in her 40/40. Remember that, her 40/40 birthday um, promotion with this, I don't know, Stella McCarthy, is it? And she had on a hat and they mocked the British traditions of tea. Well, this is
Mm,
what she's done. She's everything that she's presented in this show goes against what she has mocked. And that's
yeah.
what the Vanity Fair actually points out, is that what makes her compelling is what she's trashed. That's
Mm,
what makes you compelling. But you walked
mm,
away from it, then you trashed it, and then you didn't just trash it, but then you dug it into the ground and put your heel in it. You know, it's just got no clue about
yeah.
human nature, humanity, the way the
Yeah.
public perceives her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that cooking show is ridiculous because it looks like, they're in a gorgeous English garden.
Yeah. Yeah. It hasn't got anything that you see that captures you first. It isn't even connecting in any way, because we see her carrying flowers somewhere, and then from flowers she's doing this, from that. There is no substance in it that you look at and say, right, let me tune in and learn. Okay, I didn't see that. And when Netflix pushes that show till March, because allegedly I heard the show is not going to be running,
I don't
and
think it's going to air. I think
and
it's
then, of
over.
course, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's PR are very quick to say, "Oh, we've pulled it up. We've pulled it up. I mean, down for now because we are paying respect to the fires in California." I'm here sitting and thinking it didn't have anything to do with those fires. This is an excuse for Meghan and Markle for Netflix not airing that show on the dates they had told us. I think because of the poor trailer and because of the comments and the feedback on that trailer that were so disappointing okay, that Netflix could not risk airing that documentary, whatever cooking show, in the midst of these comments that are still flowing in. Okay, so I think they decided to hold it back so that they can let this whole thing first clear. And maybe behind the scenes, they see how to tweak things up. They throw in a bit more advice, bring people in who are going to make these changes. Because I'm quite sure they've been reading up on all of these comments. Some of those comments, in fact, most of them were constructive feedback. Okay, so Netflix would be sitting down, zooming into those comments to see how they are going to change things up a fair bit before they air that documentary. So I think that's the reason it was pulled back until March. But it might end up not being aired because
I don't think it will. I
the
think it's
signs are there. The signs are
yeah,
there. Want.
yeah. Like I'll tell you honestly, I didn't watch their Netflix. I watched a few cuts here and there, but I thought I'm not watching this trash. I'm not giving them, and I even cancelled my Netflix. But I was going to, because I was going to do reviews. I wasn't even going to hate watch it. I was going to watch the cooking show. I was disappointed it was pulled, and I was going to review it. But my first critique of it is you had your 40/40 project on, when you launched that for your 40th birthday, and you had Stella McCarthy there, and you were mocking cups of teas and British traditions, and now you're promoting them in your With Love Megan with these sponges and beautiful crockery. And you know that no one does it like the British, darlings. No one does it quite like the Brits. It's the
Mm, mm,
truth.
mm.
And she just can't see the cognitive dissonance there. I actually think you had a really good idea there. Because I quite like watching people who are in the kitchen and they're talking to their relatives. They're cooking a meal, they're cooking a Christmas lunch, or they're cooking a birthday dinner to celebrate their grandfather or their father or their mother's birthday, who are away living in another country. And they're all at the other side. They've got the table laid out and they're
Yeah.
pouring wine. Imagine if she had done that with Thomas Markle. Imagine the
Yeah.
ratings would have been through the roof.
Oh, yes. Yes. And that's what people would have probably
Tuned
fallen
in
in love
for that.
with. Yes. Yeah. And Meghan Markle, who is now changed, who is now very welcoming to her own family, because, that's what cooking is. Cooking is family. When you go to cook, whether it's an occasion or you're cooking for your relatives, wherever, cooking has a way of creating those lasting relationships for the love of food. We all love food, don't we? So again, she has missed out on a very important opportunity of connecting with people out there, with the world out there. And she makes matters worse by going and hiring this massive property, and decides to set a cooking show in this property, which is not relatable at all. Because I would have preferred her to set up this cooking show in their own kitchen in Montecito. They are staying in this 1 million, whatever, how much is their million mansion? It is huge. I suppose they have a big
It's about
kitchen.
$15 million, 15 million
Exactly.
pounds rather,
Exactly.
15 about 15 million pounds that thing's worth.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
But the fact that she couldn't set up her cooking show, because this is Meghan Markle, in her own kitchen, and decides to set it up somewhere else, is again very telling of a person who is just pretending to be
Yeah,
what she's not.
well
We would
seen,
have loved to
brothers.
we would have loved to see their little dogs, the pets running around. We would like to see Archie and the little girl, in the background doing their own things. Mommy calling in and throwing tantrums, and she excuses herself to go and sort things out, comes back. That is what would have made this show attractive. Okay.
Mm, mm,
Setting
mm.
it outside of our kitchen and somewhere else is 1 million pounds. It's not real. It's not real. It's not connecting at all with audiences. Okay. Again, she couldn't think about that. What are your thoughts, dear friends, in the comments? What do you think about Meghan Markle's cooking show? And do you think it will ever be aired? Huh?
Catherine, don't watch. Don't. I just saw this comment. Catherine, don't watch
Yeah, yeah.
because she doesn't live there. No, I actually think you're right. That she
Yeah.
brings up a really good point there. There are
Mm.
questions that they do not live there, but I don't think it's gone on the market. But
Mm,
I don't know. They're living separately. I actually do believe they live separately, and I don't believe this nonsense about she threatened. Remember, she said in the cut,
mm,
oh my gosh, this woman, she's such a piece of work. She said in the cut interview that, oh, I haven't signed anything. I can say what I like. She was threatening the royal family, I'm going to bring out a book eventually. And they just ignored it, right? And she's put that out there a few times. Well, they're not biting. So now she's threatening Harry, oh, she's threatening him with a tell all. Well, I do think she's probably got a lot of filmed rubbish on him, filmed him doing all sorts of, smoking whatever, and but they're stuck together. They're glued together. They have really made a mess of their lives because
they
they
have.
cannot go anywhere without the other. She is stuck with him, and he is stuck with her. And they're going to be like Edward and Mr. Simpson, they'll take lovers, they'll have threesomes, they'll have all sorts of things. Excuse me, I didn't wish to inject that. It's sort of like it's very early in the morning here in Australia, I can't get myself all excited. I live by myself, talking about these things. They're so sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah. I
They're
let
stuck
you off.
together, but they
Yeah.
what are they doing with that house?
Mhm.
Renting
She
other people's houses for a set. What are they
for
doing with their own place?
exactly. So they want to go and trash somebody else's house, but they can't. And this is the thing. The other aspect that would have probably uh, encouraged people to tune in somehow is if she had done this again with Harry there. Harry, show us how you used to work in the kitchen during your days in the royal family. Show us how Queen Elizabeth and all the little recipes that you saw the chefs in the royal family use. Use those sweet memories of Harry back in those days and have a bit of a replay of those memories in their own kitchen. Again, putting Harry right in there because many people would like to follow up on Meghan Markle and Prince Harry when Harry is also involved. Because we know time and time again that projects that Meghan Markle has gone out to do on herself by herself have not materialized into anything meaningful. Look at the Spotify, what was it, Archetypes with the podcasts. She threw her weight in there single handedly. What happened? First two short episodes, it all came crumbling down. So for Meghan Markle and this cooking show, if she really wanted to connect with people, she had to think about so many things. Setting up that kitchen in her own house, their own house, where you've pointed out a few of our friends here that they don't even live together now, but if they were, set it up in the kitchen. Let us see what goes on in your kitchen, your real kitchen. And I think for me, that would have been fabulous because you know where the spoons, the forks are, where
Yeah,
you keep your
yeah.
recipes, everything. So, I've not added salt in. So you pull the tin of salt. So everything is where it is always supposed to be when you're cooking. But she fails flat in all over that.
Well,
And
because she's
going
not
forward,
connecting. She's
she's
not
not
connecting.
connected.
Because in the
Yeah,
kitchen, you connect with each other, you bond. That's the whole point. The kitchen, a mother cooks in the kitchen, she's bonding with her children and her family
yeah,
just by
yeah,
the sheer act
yeah,
of cooking. And everyone's waiting. The kids are
yeah,
at your ankles, Mummy,
yeah,
mummy, let me lick the bowl,
yeah.
and she's not connecting because it's all about her. The
Yeah.
kitchen is a wonderful place. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Husbands love
Yeah.
hanging around their wives when they're
Yeah.
cooking. They're
Mm.
very annoying, but they still love you there. They'd rather you there than out of the house.
Mm. Mm.
It's a
Exactly.
very bonding experience. That, that there's no connection with anything or anyone in that show. It's so vapid. It's not even a good brochure.
It's not, and I don't see this going. It's more like Harry's Polo. I don't even know where that ended because I don't
Poor
even know where
Harry.
the polo thing. I don't even know. Is it still on? I don't even know where that ended
I
because
think so, but it
it was as
hasn't
terrible as Meghan Markle's trailer. Okay.
hasn't done well at all. It
And
didn't
then,
didn't hit any markers at all. It was
yeah,
so boring.
yeah. And then, oh, putting her cooking show onto one side, they decide to travel 200 miles to go and look at the areas that were burnt down in LA. Okay. So they went with, I think they went with the mayor of LA, and they were seen surveying the property that was burned down by the LA fires recently. And they apparently did volunteering and noticed that they had masks on and they had covered themselves up. Nobody knew they were there. But I saw those masks were all down. I could see this is Meghan, this is Harry. So what sort of covering up were they talking about? What sort of disguising was that? But they traveled 200 miles to this place where the fires were. And they are going to make a difference there. They are going to create awareness. And I'm wondering what sort of awareness are you going to create when we have already seen this on TV and everywhere. It's flooding everywhere. People had already set up GoFundMe pages. Over 2,000 of those pages had been set up already in support of the victims. So clearly, the awareness was already out there. So, what awareness was Meghan Markle and Prince Harry going to create by going to survey this place? I would have thought the best thing would have been go to the nearby villages, nearby towns by where she lives in Montecito, create awareness there. You know, tell people, we have to be very watchful, very vigilant, very careful with what we do. We need to already start establishing these close networks of checking in ourselves and see how our neighbors are doing to make sure everyone is fine. Call your loved ones who are living, in these places where the fires are taking place, see if they are fine. That, I think, would have been more impact awareness than traveling all the way to go to these places where the fires were. So, do you blame people when they say that they only went there for photo ops, for publicity, because they knew this is where all the cameras were? And Meghan Markle, Harry hadn't been in the cameras for a considerable amount of time leading up to that period. What are your thoughts on that?
Well,
Or-
I
Sorry.
just, it. I wasn't surprised because, in my opinion, one of the worst things she ever did was when she turned up at Uvalde with her camera crew and was, walking on graves, checking out headstones. She is, she's a sociopath. Sociopaths have absolutely no conscience. They don't. It took me a while. I'm reading a book on sociopathy at the moment, mainly because I just am so, I'm not baffled by her so much reading this book because it explains a lot of her behavior. Everything is about her. It's about everything is used as an extension for her well-being, for her promotional purposes, for her projects. It's not about the people who've lost their homes at all. People see through it. They see it for what it really is. And Justine Bateman, not only did she call it so succinctly, but sort of chilled me to the bone when I heard her say, they are potentially walking over the graves or the
Right. Yeah.
bones of
Yeah.
people who've died. When she
Mm.
put it in that context, I just thought, wow,
Mm.
there is no self-awareness with this. Is why I don't believe she can do what it takes to repair her reputation, which is to be quiet and,
Mm.
work
Mm.
quietly behind the scenes. Because you're quite right, Francis, when you say you should have just gone around the little villages and little areas and the marketplaces and, maybe had a GoFundMe, raise some money, because that's what people want. People need
Yeah.
money.
People need money here because I'm quite sure people within those nearby villages some of those might have had friends or relatives who were caught up in these tragedies. Okay.
Yes.
So it would have benefited them more had they traveled in those nearby little villages and checked in with people. Have you got any people who have been caught up in these tragedies? How can we be of help? But no, they didn't. They travel 200 miles. 200. Now that's a considerable amount of that's a long distance, all in the name of searching for where cameras are. And so because they are very clever, they do it through the mayor of LA. Okay, and we know Meghan Markle is quite good with calling people behind the scenes and trying to get them to do things, and because of their positions. So I'm thinking maybe she did the calling up behind the scenes, talk to the mayor of LA. Can we appear in shots with you walking around? Because when people see us with you, they'll probably get to know that we are there officially, and they probably orchestrate this wonderful statement that the mayor was going to give out on the day that Meghan Markle, Prince Harry have come here to do volunteering. They disguise themselves wearing cameras. They are not here for photo operations or for publicity. They are here to. Why did the mayor of LA feel the need to go into so much detail to explain to us that Meghan Markle, Prince Harry were not there for publicity or for cameras? They were there to do their job. You never say that.
No,
You,
it's
yeah,
obvious that there's pressure being brought to bear behind the
yeah,
scenes from
yeah,
Meghan, you know.
yeah.
What a ridiculous thing to do. You're better off just not saying anything.
Okay, so we see Catherine, Princess of Wales, Prince William
I
traveling
was going
to.
to bring that up.
Yeah,
I know
okay,
where you're
yeah.
going.
No, bring it up, Catherine. It's
Good
yours.
on you. No,
It's
go, go,
yours.
go.
You know?
Well, I'm thinking the whole time when they went to visit the families, they took
Yeah,
their
the study.
time.
Yes.
The children at Southport who died, they took their time, and you could see, you know, Catherine wasn't going around hugging people and clinging
No,
on to people. Oh
no.
my gosh,
Yeah,
they've got such grace, such elegance, such
exactly.
comportment. They hold themselves. And, she waits on William. She
Yeah,
just waited and he
yeah.
went first.
Exactly. You see her and William genuinely taking their time talking to people, and you see them having lengthy conversations from a point of compassion. And you see Catherine placing her arm here always when she's talking. And that's
Mhm.
a sign that she is really, really, touched by what is going on. We didn't see any of that with Meghan Markle, apart from them hugging their own team.
Yep.
Okay? These were people who are for Actual Foundation, allegedly. We didn't see them talk to anybody else. Okay, but their team, that lady, there was another man here, and the mayor, that was it. Because later on, we saw them walking with the very people that they were hugging onto their transport, which was
Hmm.
waiting in the outskirts. Okay, so what sort of compassion and what sort of checking in on people who were victims was that, when we didn't see any of those hugs to them or any of genuine one-to-one conversations like we see William and Catherine do? Yeah, when they
Well,
visit
they
places.
would have gone home and hugged their children after that. You could not help as a parent feel this could be my child. I could have lost one of my children. And then all the revelations from the court case last week. Can you imagine how that would have affected Catherine and William? They would have been
Mm,
devastated to hear of just what those girls had suffered. It was,
mm,
I won't repeat it here, but some of those reports are absolutely devastating. This is what empathy is. Empathy is walking in someone else's shoes.
mm,
Empathy is experiencing someone else's heartbeat, even if it's just for a moment of time, but it's being with someone. It says in the scriptures in the New Testament, rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. And that's what you could see with Catherine and William. You could see their hearts were breaking with those parents. But you
mm,
would never, you can't see any of that empathy. There is no empathy coming from Meghan. I think there are glimpses of it from Harry from time to time, but he's so drug addled now. He's so damaged, you know.
mm,
He's not the Harry that we used to see when he was operating within the royal household. He's not. He's really far removed from that Harry now. But
mm,
You're right. I love that you brought that up. She had her hand on her heart because she's thinking about her own kids. She,
mm.
you know, that's what empathy is. Empathy is beating with someone else's heartbeat for a
Exactly.
moment.
You see, when she visited the Royal Marsden Hospital for the cancer, research visit she did recently, and how she was talking to the cancer patients, you could see a one-on-one, and I'm there, and people, the ladies, and everybody who was watching in the background, of course, had their cameras filming in. You could see how excited they were, but most of them, you would see via their facial expression the great admiration they had for this woman, Catherine. I'm telling you that there is no competition between
No.
these Meghan and. But we only bring up Catherine because, of course, we want to show people how royalty is done and what it means being compassionate and carrying out activities from a real, genuine point of view. Not Meghan Markle traveling 2 miles, 200 miles away just for photo ops, hugging your own people, and you want this image of you hugging a worker of your own company to appear in newspapers with a headline that Meghan Markle shows sympathy to the victims of which victims? This is your worker you're working with. So there's
Mm.
no real everything they do has something attached to how are we going to make money out of this? How are we going to how they always want to ride upon those tragedies, and they could have made a difference without even traveling 200 miles. They could have just put out a statement and say we sympathize with everybody who is affected, and that way their message would have been heard. Okay, but they gave up being royals. Okay, they left the royal family because I still believe they would have done whatever they are trying to do right now with the royal family because they had this platform to do these very things they are doing right now. But because they thought they were not paid when they were doing it, they thought they could get out and monetize these same activities by going out and creating websites and start getting donations and money out of these things. See how they are struggling to maintain that.
Mm.
Because, first of all, no planning, no organization at all. They are non systematic. Professionalism is zero. Prince Harry is just literally being led, wherever he wants to go. Let's go here. He comes and, oh my word, we can sit here and talk about this too all night, but we don't want to. So,
Well, because I I'm just curious. Sometimes people, well, you will have heard the same thing. You get comments from people who are obviously sugars. What does it matter to you what Harry does? What does it matter to you that Meghan went there? Why do you care? And and I get a lot of, oh, you old bag, you old granny, they're going to have to do better than that to get under my skin. But why do you care about Harry? And I just feel because he's a son of a king, and he's still living under the grace and favor of that royal household, because you can see it in the way the media reports. When they report on Meghan and Harry, they go soft on Harry, and it's
yeah.
because They're thinking about his father who's suffering with cancer. They're thinking about a royal household that has two people who've undergone treatment for cancer.
Mm.
They don't want to get the royal family offside. They just, don't want to make things harder for the king. This is why we can talk about them. This is why, and let's be honest, everyone was captured by the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard court case. This is no different. You've got the
Mm.
same behaviour here with Meghan Markle, treating her husband as shabbily and as badly and as abusively as Amber Heard treated Johnny Depp. Now,
Exactly.
Johnny Depp was no saint. He was not perfect. Harry is not perfect. He's a flawed human being. But the way she treats Harry in public, you know,
Mm.
the way she reached for the beads that were actually meant for Harry in Nigeria, she's so vulgar. She just literally elbows him
Yeah.
out of the way.
Yeah.
This woman is a really sick
Ah,
puppy.
ah.
So this is why we talk about them, and this is why they will remain in the headlines
Yeah.
whenever they pull stunts like this latest one at the LA fires. You can't, I
Yeah.
mean, what are you going to do? I don't want to be talking about them all the time. I find them as people extremely boring. That's an
Mm, mm,
oxymoron,
mm.
extremely boring. They are boring people when you just
They
look
are.
at them. They because they've got nothing. They've got
Yeah.
nothing but headlines. That's it.
Nothing,
So all they're
nothing in there.
doing is talking about the headlines and the dreadful behavior and the embarrassment that Harry has become to his family. And he is. He's an absolute weeping sore on the royal family, whichever, there's no other way to put it. But they want nothing to do with it. They are staying silent and they want nothing to do with those two. They have ignored her, saying, "Oh, I can write anything now." They didn't bite. Well, now she's blackmailing Harry. Well, more fool him if he bites. That's all I can say. He should say, "Well, go and do your worst, honey. You'll do me a
Yeah.
favor because then I will be free."
Yeah.
She won't.
I agree with you. I agree with you indeed. Oh, Stedman says bye bye to us.
Bye,
Bye,
Stedman.
Stedman. Thank you so much for tuning in. We won't be long as well. We are soon wrapping up this.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear friends, in the comments. Sheila Kelly here. Harry and Meghan don't deserve anything, and I hope they are stuck together forever, just like David and Wallace. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Sheila. We've got some wonderful friends of ours here. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Hi, Stedman is gone. Hi, Lily Page. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are. I appreciate your
Hi,
support.
girls.
Hi,
Yeah. Hi,
girls. We love
lovelies.
you all so, so much. We do. Now, Catherine, before we wrap this up, I want us to talk about this story a little because I thought we didn't conclude with it. Prince Harry's settling out of court.
Mm.
I know that there were talks of him rushing to settle because he was uncertain with his future in the United States. Um, but also, I think it was a very, very expensive court case for Harry to manage. And you know how these court cases drag on and drag on. Every sitting, every postponement will require a lot of work behind the scenes uh, by the lawyers. And Prince Harry is spending a lot of money paying these lawyers who are representing him. So he would have probably thought about the expenses he's paying and so decided, I can't keep up with this case. I will have to settle. Because we know that the Sun newspaper allegedly has about 1,300 claimants, and all of these have settled. So they have money. The Sun has money. So dragging this court case would have been a no issue for the Sun newspaper. They can afford to take it for as far as they could. But Harry, I think, could not put up with the expenses of running this court case. But the other thing as well is that he would have to stand in that box again and give evidence. And some of this giving of evidence would be again having to talk about the royal family in some way, and how he wasn't given the protection from all of these people uh, that much like his brother was. He has always claimed so. And I think this is a Harry who doesn't want to go down that route again of talking about his family. He knows how that has really held him back all these years. So, what does he decide to do to settle, to avoid having to stand in there and talk about all of these things? And also to the fact that he is. They are struggling financially, allegedly. The projects are not coming the way they should. So maintaining the costs of this court case were going to be a big problem for him. Later on, them needing money to finance their expensive life. So he would rather walk away with the 10 million plus pounds he was given. That money sounds like huge, but for those people like the Meghan Harris and the lawyers they are using, that money is probably going to go into paying bills. Mm. Okay, so it's not so much money as it sounds. That's why we heard he could also settle with the Daily Mail because he now wants to get as much money as he can right now to be able to start setting up meaningful future projects for
Yeah.
2025. Okay, because they've got no money. This is their way of getting money right now. Okay, so I think that is why he probably settled.
I
Okay.
think so, but I think the missing, I'll tell you, my thoughts are the missing emails were a problem. The judge wanted access to those emails, and they were there were thousands of them between him and his publisher, his ghostwriter. The he during discovery he would have come undone,
Mm.
and that's my feeling. The other thing is too, I don't know if you've seen it, but he's been dropped by his publisher. They've dropped him.
The Penguin,
So
Random
no,
House.
Penguin. I think
Yeah,
Penguin.
yeah.
So there'll be no money coming from there. This is, people don't, they can see that there's nothing there. There's no content, no forthcoming stories, no forthcoming drama. And I think Harry wants to play down the family drama because he wants back in
Mm.
anyway, any which way he can possibly manage. But I feel that there was a statement that the other parties said they were very surprised because it was Harry that approached them. It was Harry's, through his lawyers, approached them, and they were very surprised at the serious nature of his approach to settle. So
Mm.
he opened up discussions on settlement, but he had to do it because Murdoch's swimming in money. He's got money coming out of his ears.
Mm.
So whereas Harry's limited, and according to him, his father's cut him off, but according to a report by Robert Jobson, he's still living on royal money. So make of
Yeah,
that what you will.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think he hurt himself. He he put himself in a corner as the um, slayer of dragons, but he's just come out as some Marvel character in oversized underpants, really, just some silly cartoon character now. And he's really hurt himself, but he has no self-awareness because he was asked if his family contacted him after Spare, and he goes, "Oh, I hope so. I hope they do." Like he really thought his family was going to contact him and, go, "Well done, well done. So good on you, bro. But I didn't like what you said about me there." He's got no self-awareness, Harry. So he can't see the damage he's done to himself by this final settlement in this case. I mean, he's still got a security case to go, but
Mm.
that's not going to go anywhere.
It's not gonna go anywhere, and this is the thing with Prince Harry, uh, the lack of people who are there to advise him. I don't think either they are just not taking advice or people are just ill advising them
Mm.
because taking on more than one case, at the same time is not easy, and the costs involved. And Aspi is actually affirming this, that he would have to pay a lot of money, fees
Mm.
to lawyers. There's a settlement fee he has to pay in the United States. So it isn't always going to be an easy journey for him. And of course, we know that projects like Penguin, they've dropped him.
Yeah.
What else there? So there's a lot. Meghan Markle is not doing any work. She's not bringing in any money. So Prince Harry here, who is actually the breadwinner for that family, is bound to collapse under stress and all of those things, taking on these court cases. So I think this settlement here is Prince Harry saving his mental health. But
I
it is,
think you're right. I think he's in for a mental collapse. I think
yeah.
that there is an emotional collapse up ahead because it's over. He didn't get what he
Mm,
wanted. It was his day in court. And I
mm,
really do believe that word you say there, collapse. I think he's in for a collapse, a
mm.
huge. He's got Invictus up ahead, so that's got him focused. But once that energy runs dry, there's no content there. The well has run dry in terms of ideas and content. There's nothing.
Right, so we leave it to that today.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was just
Catherine.
getting wound up, darling. I got my fan here.
Yeah, it's about, what time is it here? Coming to 11. So I think it's, tomorrow is a working week. It's already morning. Where are you, Catherine? Are you
It's
going for
uh,
your
it's
volunteering?
10 to, well, it's public holiday here because of Australia
Ah,
Day weekend. So
okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I have got a busy week ahead, but I'll just potter around. I'm about to go and do some cooking. But
Yes.
I've talking about cooking. I got some ideas while we were talking. I thought, oh, I'll go and cook that chicken later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to do now.
I tell you what, Catherine, you better cook than Meghan Markle. Everybody can cook better than.
Oh, well, my husband never complained. He loved my cooking. He
Yeah,
did. He loved my cooking. So I'm a bit
yeah, but
experimental.
yeah, but thank you.
So what are you going to do now?
So I'm
Retire for
going
the
to,
evening?
iron my shirts for work tomorrow.
Oh, look at
And
you.
yes, polish my boots and literally get myself squared away, get my bags sorted for work tomorrow. It's the week starting, and it doesn't stop until Friday. My students are applying to university, so I'm helping them with writing their UCAS personal
Oh,
statements. Uh,
fabulous.
University courses, and really helping them to identify the right universities to go to. So it's busy, busy, busy this week. But
Yeah.
I miss all of our friends here. When we come on these live streams, it's chance for us to check in with
Yes,
them.
it is fabulous. I've really
Yeah,
missed you.
yeah,
Yeah, I've really
yeah.
missed you. But
So this,
we're back, hey? We're
yeah.
back.
So we
You were
we
in
back.
form tonight. You sounded
Yes.
like you really needed to get a lot off your chest.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, free speech. Thank you. I learned all of those skills working in the army, obviously, as a Queen's Guard.
Yeah,
These
I
are
know
some
it's
of the life
impressive.
skills, yeah, they gave to us. Ironing, cooking. I do cook as well. And I know how to cut onions, tomatoes, put oil in a pan, all of those, So Meghan Markle could have done with our skills, couldn't she?
Yeah. Well, sorry, girls. This perfect man, but he's taken. He's the ideal man, but some other gorgeous lady got
Thank
lucky.
you so much, everybody. SP, thank you.
Thank you.
Joe,
Good night,
Prestige,
Aspie.
Zedman, Kelly, Lillian, everyone on here. Joe, you are so fabulous. Every single one of you that is always giving up your time to sit on these live streams. We truly appreciate. Catherine, thank you so much for always taking your time to show up on this channel. You
Oh,
are part
the
of Francis.
pleasure's mine. The pleasure
Yeah,
is all mine.
truly appreciate. I will be catching up with your posts, Catherine. I've seen a few start to come up, so I'll catch up with them. And we,
Oh,
hmm,
no pressure. Just
hmm.
straight away before you go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Oh, tormenting.
should we say another live stream probably around Friday time?
Yeah, let's do
Friday.
it. Yeah,
Let's
let's
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Any
Bye
other
bye,
messages
everyone.
to our friends, Catherine, before we sign off?
Well, I've got my Australia Day flag. It's actually out on my door. But happy Australia Day, everyone. Happy Australia Day.
And please don't forget to subscribe to Catherine's channel. She changed her channel name in case it
A
isn't.
Royal Australian.
Yes, please head over and subscribe to Catherine.
Thank you.
And also check in if you're still subscribed to Francis Page Media because YouTube has a way of unsubscribing people for some reason. But please, please, please continue subscribing and commenting on these videos and watch them because when you do, we get those views and rankings in YouTube algorithms. Hmm. Okay,
Okay, well,
Catherine.
good night, darlings.
Good
See you on the
night.
next one.
On the next one, indeed.
Bye.